going to be talking about how we've generated 10 million in revenue for a client. It is super important to know that the total earned is $10 million. And now, why is it that I am highlighting this? Why is this important? Well, to answer that question, it's because this has been in a year. So previous to March 2025, this client was actually inattentive. They had been with that for a while, but since most of our clients are on Postscripts and we have a great relationship with Postscripts and we really like Postscripts, we decided to talk to this client, see if they would be willing to make the switch, which they were. And so we officially started all of the necessary steps in March 2025, and we started sending the first campaign out of Postscripts on April 2025. Ever since we did that, we have generated 10 million in revenue from April 2025 to now. That is literally only a year and 2 weeks for us to have generated this much revenue. Now, it's also important to note that the total subscribers has grown substantially, but it's super important to note that we had 66,000 when we started and we are now at 155,000. So this is an incredible metric beyond the 10 million because not only have we grown this exponentially, but this has been done through a very detailed strategy. And every time we're going to send an SMS, we think about what the purpose is, how we're going to accomplish it, and who we're sending to. It's not just a one-size-fits-all for every campaign. This is something that we take the time to think about prior to the planning for each month's calendar. So in order to get to the 10 million, some of the things we have done is right out when they join Postscripts, before we sent any initial SMS campaign, what we did was we set up the pop-up, which we have here in acquisition. But essentially the pop-up, we've had multiple pop-ups. They've all done and generated a good amount of money. And also another step that we did in the initial days was we set up all of the flows. And I don't mean just the core flows, I mean all of the flows. So what does that look like? Abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, browse abandonment, win back, sunset. We've done post-purchase, the welcome flow, of course. And also within those, we did these. These flows have been super important as well. They keep track and let customers know their order updates. As you can see, they've generated super well. People really like them. You know, they like to be informed where their purchases are in the process. And so we've seen that these work. Another one that has performed excellently, as you can see, is the back in stock. People also really like to have those because this client has a really good client base, super loyal following. So when they get the back in stock SMS, they really like it and take advantage of it. They go and buy their product because usually the products that run out of stock are the super best-selling ones that have a long waiting list. So these were all set up as part of the initial process, like I mentioned. And then super important part of the strategy is, besides these flows that are money makers 24/7, we don't have to touch them once we have them in place, is that we try to be really relevant with what we're sending. So before I talk to that, I also want to mention that part of the strategy for this client was that Black Friday, Cyber Monday season, we created whole new flows for that season, so to speak. So not all of them got duplicated because that would be an incredible amount of heavy lifting, but the core flow, so the cart, the checkout, the browse, and then the welcome flow, all of those got, and the site abandonment, all of those got specific flows for either Black Friday or Cyber Monday, depending on the offer. And that also performed really well because obviously people want to they not only do they want the messaging to be relevant, but they want to feel like you're talking to them. So all of these flows had first name tags, all of these flows had the correct discount, all of them had the product that they last viewed. So that way they felt that we were speaking directly to them. Now moving on to what I was saying about the campaigns is that we try to be extremely relevant with what we're sending. So I'll provide a few examples so that you can see what I am saying. So for example, when the Super Bowl happened last year and Kendrick Lamar performed, we made sure to send a message regarding that performed extremely well. So as you can see here, but this is the revenue generated. So you see, we try to keep it super relevant to what's happening out in the world, so to speak. We try to keep it with, let me also show this one so that you can see what I'm talking about. We try to keep it not only relevant to what's happening, but also with how the current people are speaking, with how the audience that they have communicates. And so this is another example. So we try to this is as if a friend had messaged you directly. This is how the message would come across in your chat. So spot the red flag, also super relevant. And then we also provided this one. We try to keep it, your problems are solutions. We try to keep it as relevant as we can while also keeping them up to date as to what is happening. So another thing to note is that this brand does not do frequent sales. So when they do, they tend to perform extremely well. Like you can see here, we had this 50% off for 50 minutes sale, and it did north of 800,000, only that SMS. And honestly, this is not super unheard of for this brand. So another example is Bad Bunny at the Grammys. So always try to keep it relevant, always try to understand what the audience likes, what they're expecting from this brand at this point. Well, also what we do is we cross-reference it with their socials. What are they talking in their socials? How are they speaking to their audience? What do their visuals look like? And we try to match it to that style. So they have a very sassy personality, a very bossy attitude. So we mimic that in our SMS as well. For example, another example that we did of something quite relevant would be a girl math. So always try to keep it relevant. Now, who do we send to? So we have a couple of segments that we've mimicked from Klaviyo, but also we try to do it based on their purchasing. So have they purchased? Have they clicked? If these are examples, if they've engaged. Okay, they did engage, they clicked. What does that even mean? So let me just go into this so that you can see more clearly. They clicked the last 120 days and they subscribed the last 120 days. So we play with the filters. You see here, they click, but they subscribe. We try to make it so that we're encompassing a big range of segments while also keeping each send very targeted. So even though we have all of these segments, it doesn't mean that we're sending to all of them. So for each send, we need to think about what are we trying to achieve with this text? What are we trying to tell the audience? What is the action we want them to take? So for the example, I'll show the most recent one, which was this one, POV. Again, super relevant. It really mimics how the audience is speaking. Here we go, a POV, your sends finally do what they're supposed to do. So who are we sending to? What do we want them to do? So we want to send to 60, they engaged, they may have clicked, but they subscribed in the last 30. We want non-buyers, but they clicked at least once, meaning they are interested. And then we want people that did view the product, they started checkout, or they added to cart, but they didn't finalize that purchase. So we want people that have been engaging, but that have also shown a high interest in purchasing, and this is their final nudge. This message is what will get them to cross that line. Always having that in mind, we try to have all those type of segments, while also keeping in mind exclusions. We don't want to be sending you something if you bought in the last 7 days. We don't want to be sending you something if you're highly unengaged, you haven't been interacting with the brand. We don't want to bother you. So we try to keep all of those things in mind, the strategy and the thought behind everything that we've been doing, plus the amount of loyalty that this client has have really been the driving factors in how we've gotten this number to where it is. Now, one other thing that I wanted to say, which I completely forgot what it was, we also are very particular with launches. Besides being super relevant on the content that we're sending, even if you haven't shown an intent to buy, maybe this will be the thing that gets you over that finish line to actually make that purchase. Maybe these new products interest you enough versus the previous items that we had that didn't really interest you. Maybe these ones will be the driving factor for you to say, I really do want to try them now, or maybe I haven't purchased from them in a long time. Always try to be super mindful about what we're sending, because SMS is an expensive platform, specifically if you're sending MMS, so we don't want to be racking up the bill to the point that, it's just unsustainable. So always be mindful about what we're sending. Sometimes, you gotta not play with the subscriber amount, but really sit down and think, who am I sending to and what will I accomplish? So those are some things that we do on a week-to-week basis, is look at these numbers and optimize what we need to, so what things do we need to change to be able to do that. All of these things, they work hand in hand, they don't work separately. The overall strategy of just constantly A/B testing, constantly optimizing, constantly changing, looking into where there are gaps, and trying to understand the customer are really what have taken us to that 10 million earn within the year, which to me is an amazing number. I hope this helps. If there's any other information needed, please let me know.